Good morning, guys. This is Patti Sanders here with Earthworks. We are at the Divine residence in Coastal Oaks down here in Nocatee for a pretty large project. To give you a basic overview, we want to do a huge transformation in the side yards actually. I kind of consider them the backyards because they really will be once we're done with this. We have a koi pond with a water feature going up to a little seating area. Then we've got a yin-yang symbol in there. It's going to be gardens, some flowing flagstone walkways, some areas for veggie beds. And the clients do like to do a lot of their own planting. Mom's here from Vietnam, and so she tends to do a lot of gardening as well. So we're going to create some beds on the other side just to give them some areas where they can do some more planting. And she's got a large selection of plants in the screen enclosure herself that she wants to add in. We've got a little bit of drainage happening to kind of tie in with the new screen enclosure they had built in here. So it's going to be a lot of different pieces. So we'll take you around back to see where we're at right now as far as the project. The guys are back there in the midst of our koi pond build. The guys are magicians as far as where they place all this stuff. They've got a really good eye. But we got some really large sized boulders for some of the areas around back. And then look at these cool rocks back here. We do have Tennessee fieldstone we use too, which is much smoother look. But these are really cool because they've got like the moss in them. They're really just different shapes and nooks and crannies in there. They look really cool. But I wanted to get you an idea of some of the stuff that we use. It seems like it's an easy project, but then when you get out here and really see what these guys do, it's not quite as easy as going to Lowe's or Home Depot and buying a little pond insert and making a few rocks around it. It really is a lot more involved than that. So you can see we have to use this piece of equipment, the Bobcat, to pick up some of these boulders. I mean, I know the guys are strong, but can you imagine trying to pick these huge boulders up and place them where they're supposed to go? So it really is a huge project. And again, a lot of people don't think of this. They see stuff online and they think they can just go to Lowe's or Home Depot and pick up these little things. Not knocking Lowe's or Home Depot, I used to work there. But the magic that these guys create is a much different experience than what you're going to get at any big box store. So you can see back here on the back side of our water feature how the guys have built it up. So the biofalls have an elevation change so they can create that waterfall effect down into the koi pond. So it does involve bringing in a lot of soil. They do use some of the excavated soil. Again, this won't be as high. It'll be kind of graded down, so it won't look as drastic as it is right now. And then with the landscape around it as well, it'll soften it. We are going to have a retaining wall seating area on the back side of the little water area, which is going to be super cool. Then the client is going to order a special Japanese bridge. It's an 8-foot bridge, which is really cool. And the guys are creating a little area for that bridge right now. So really, really cool project. And as it develops, we'll keep you in the loop. We are out here again at the Divine residence in Nocatee, wrapping up a big project that we've done that's taken us over a month to do. Again, we talked about it in the first video where we had a lot of pieces to the puzzle on this one. So I'm really excited to show you how it's come out. We will do follow-up videos after this, probably about a year, maybe 6 months from now, when you can actually see even more growth after that, because it's really impactful when you see this before and afters. But let's go take a look at where we've got so far. The only thing I do want to show you up front is in the Coastal Oaks neighborhood where we're at, we are allowed to have little retaining walls, which are really great to insinuate your beds, but you can go no more than 12 inches. So we just want to show you that we only did like one course of wall with a cap on it, but it really enhances the beds up front and gives you a little extra definition. So now, this is the exciting part, guys. We're going to walk into the secret garden. So you can see we had some arbors put in. Those were purchased from the homeowner. They built them themselves. In the future, you can see the whole thing now, but the whole idea is to be secret later on. We do have a matching one on the other side, which is really cool. This vine, which I had never heard of before, called a sandpaper vine. It kind of feels like sandpaper, but it's got these huge panicle purple flowers, almost like a wisteria, that we saw in a neighbor's house. So we incorporated this side and the other side. Super, super cool plant. So as you walk in, again, the original design here, guys, had paver walkways, but we decided we wanted something a little bit more natural. Now remember, with flagstone, it's going to be a little uneven, but it gives you that more natural feel of winding through the garden. It's really turned out really well. So we start off here with our little water feature of a stacked slate urn. Really easy, low maintenance fountain. You can add it in any small space as long as you've got like a 45-inch area for the aqua basin that's sitting below the ground. We tend to like a little bit further because it does have a little bit of splash. So usually 48, about 4 feet and more would be the best scenario. But we're going to probably add some plantings in here later on. But as you can see too, we've got a good amount of plant material, but the whole point was to leave some spaces because Lon, the homeowner, and Doug, they're really into gardening, and so is their mom. So they're going to be adding their little pieces. They have a back area. It's a screen and enclosure that they had added on where all her extra plants were. So the whole point is down the road is to get these plants into the ground. So it's going to fill up here more as well as the other side. Again, the viburnum are going to grow up and give us a little privacy, as well as our bamboo and our bird of paradise. So this little walkway goes down to her little Mary statue. If you can see it way in the back, it's really super cool. That was important to have that feature that came in from inside the house. And then we've got our great Sylvester palm. Along the house, some more things that they added. Again, they purchased these themselves. We don't build these guys. Some trellises that we just installed the bougainvillea for them on there. And another transplant of a bird of paradise that came from inside the screen enclosure. As you can see, we've got good irrigation on your palms, on your trees. You're going to want to install bubblers so they get individually watered. Lots of water on these new plants. And we did a lot of lighting in here, guys, too. So at night, hopefully we'll get some shots for you guys to see at nighttime here because the fountains, the pond, the trees are all lit up. It's spectacular. We've got little winding paths back to the Mary like we talked about. But then the piece de resistance, I had it drawn out, but again, like we talked about before, you really can do that two-dimensional design, but it's really our pond guys who are the magicians and create this really cool water feature. So we've got the waterfall starts up here, the biofalls, comes down to a little nook area. We initially had put like one big step stone to walk over here, but we really wanted that oriental feel in here. They've added a pagoda in here, which is really cool. But you kind of come over this area and you get a little winding stream that goes down to our koi pond area. It's coming over the little bridge. We've got little solar lights, which are really nice. This lights up at night too. And we come down our little seating area, which is super cool. It's got built-in blade lights, so it lights up at night. So if you sit here and you can look out at the water over here, and then you've got your little sound of your pond back here. It's a really cool little space. Again, lots of landscaping in here, but again, lots of open spaces for them to add stuff. Like this guy right here, this gold dust plant was not initially in there. We had our foxtails and our blue days, but she's added this in here and it's a really great plant. It's draping into the rocks, adds that pop of yellow. She kind of added some over here if you can see on the other side. Oh, we ever got dragonflies in here again too. The alternanthera is a great pop of color, really cool thing. We've got this great foxtail palm. It is absolutely one of my favorite plants, but it is not for our zone. So if you are to plant it, make sure you put it in an area that gets protected, or just know you may have to cover it in the wintertime. We get those cold temperatures below the 30s. But I absolutely love it that we put it right here to kind of protect it by the screen enclosure. The homeowner actually got some bulbs of rain lily bulbs. And with all the rain we've been getting, it's super, super cool. So every time it rains, they start blooming. Great little addition to the backyard here. Really great idea from the homeowner to add that piece in there. And then we come and walk into a more decorative spot. It's not a functional spot, guys, for like a table. You could probably put chairs out here, but we've got a nice little yin-yang symbol that we've incorporated in here. It's funny, I actually showed them a design. When I first started with Earthworks a few years ago, I actually did a design for one of the designers for the company. And I had done a very oriental look design. And I kept it on my phone just to show people. And I never ended up installing it, but showed them the picture of this. And that's how this ended up being incorporated into this plan. But I think it turns out really, really cool. And then, of course, she's adding in her different plants that she had. These will eventually go in the ground, but we had a lot of plant material that, you know, they are avid gardeners and this whole thing will evolve and you'll see that as we go along. One other thing I did want to point out as far as plant material, we did save the trees that were back here. So if we do your installs, guys, we can try to save. Just let us know if you have plant material like the magnolia behind you that you want to keep. We transplanted a river birch, which is a beautiful tree. If you want to save some of these things, just let your designer know, because we do want to try to save as many plant materials as we can. Sometimes we can't, but if you want us to save it, we can incorporate it into your new design very easily. So just let your designer know. But yeah, I think it turned out really good. The other side, we do have some winding paths, but it's really a work in progress. We'll show you that on phase 2, guys, because we haven't really added anything on the other side. So imagine this on the other side once we get to doing that. But yeah, it's a wrap here at the Divine Residence. We're really excited to showcase this great design. Great job by our installers. I want to shout out to Tim, the foreman, who started the job. And then big shout out to Mike Oakes, who came back and did a little bit of work afterwards, and his guys. So great work by the all foremen on this job. It turned out really nice.